Hi, welcome back to I Can Meet Gaming. Today we're going to start on a new scenario. It's called Ile-de-France, and it's from the Industrial Wonders DLC for Railway Empire 2. So we're going to click on this. Looks like we start in Paris. It's 1880. Let's continue. We'll take Helen Gerard. Why not? We seem to do best with her. I kind of know her, so I'll just stick with it. Going to start our game here, and I'm kind of excited. I assume we build the Eiffel Tower.
Ever since Maurice Conflans and Émile Nouguier, two of my most talented engineers, showed me their first design, the idea kept haunting me. A 300-meter-high iron tower built for the 1889 World Fair to become a symbol of the new, modern France, of technological progress, feats of engineering, and the power of innovation. It was not an easy road to get here. The resistance was loud. Artists, architects, citizens, they called the project an eyesore made of metal. But I prevailed, with conviction, with figures, with vision. Now everything is prepared. The workers are ready. The first foundation will be poured in a few days. Nothing is rising into the sky yet, but Paris will change. And I know this tower will be a masterpiece.
All right, so let's look into what we need to do. Our first little section is called Lofty Goals. Right now, as I mentioned, January 1st, 1880. So by July of this year, we need to transport 70 wagons with a single train line connecting the cities of Paris, Conflans-Sainte-Honorine, and Fosses. Then by October this year, we need to transport 550 passengers to Paris. And then by April of next year, we need to deliver 20 loads of wooden planks to Paris. And then by July of next year, we need to reach 60,000 citizens in Paris, and they're just under 42. Let's quickly look at this. It's something I didn't do the last scenario, but what's our little supply and demand thing looking like? So grain's still in there, livestock still there, potatoes still made in, beans, lumber, bread, meat still in, cloth is still in, milk and cheese, and then we got dresses or clothing, I guess. Wooden planks, sawdust, paper, copper wires in at 40,000. So that moved up. Salt is up at 45. So that's also going to be important. Tools are at 50. Canned goods are at 55. Chemicals, newspapers, cement. We have steel components. That's a new thing for this scenario. Electric components, that was in some of the other. Paint's new. Toys is not new, but it's at the very top end. Okay, so let's look at our research here. What would we possibly do? We probably don't have a whole lot of selection. So we have 200 here, reduce the price of locomotives. Nah, we have this in-service training. Could take that. Immigration by 4%. Reduce construction costs of buildings, factories, railroad buildings by an additional 15%. That could be useful. Okay, let's take this training one, wherever that was. Let's go back and take it. Where was the training one? Okay, right there. Okay, and the reason we'll do that is right here. Go to our personnel. So we're going to bump up a training 200%. That will give our engineers maximum efficiency, which will decrease the maintenance requirements of locomotives by 25%. We'll bump this training up to 200, which will increase maximum speed of our locomotives by 12%. And then trained personnel will do the same thing. And that will increase popularity, which then increases ticket price by 10%. And then security will do the same thing. And that will increase the freight and mail revenue by 10%. Obviously, those are no-brainers. So let's look at our map right here. So we're read out there. So we can get the Versailles. There is a connection bonus. We have Paris, which we're starting in. I think we have to put our first station there. Then we got Saint Denis there. We have Fosses up here. So that's something we're going to have to buy. And then Conflans-Sainte-Honorine is also there. And that was one of our tasks, right? We had to do Paris, Conflans-Honorine, and Fosses. So we're going to have to do this up here and over to there. It's kind of funny because Saint Denis is right there. Versailles is down here. Okay. So as far as goods, just within our zone, we have milk, we have wood, we have potatoes, we have beans there, and we have cattle / grain over there. So we have a lot of our main first things. So we took a quick look at things. On our previous Paris maps, we didn't have this water being such a pain. But in this one, we do. The other thing is Paris is cut up really bad. If I go to put a station here, see what I mean? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. We can't put nothing here. We can't put nothing right here. All we had available is right here. So we'll put our freight station there. We did put maintenance on it, and we ran it all along. We want to avoid Saint Denis at first because we're trying to get this Paris, Conflans, Saint-Honorine, and Fosses. So we're going to have to buy Val d'Oisy And now we'll put a station here and then creep it back over the Fosses, and that'll be our single rail line. So we finished our line going from Paris to Conflans-Sainte-Honorine to Fosses and back again. We're going to put a PLM 4D because it seems to be the fastest freight train we have at the moment. We're going to put it on 3. We won't put any wagons on, and we'll put it on automatic, and we'll let that run. So in each station we have a maintenance, which maybe is not quite needed at first, but it will be eventually. So that'll help start working on this. That'll help a little bit with these 500 passengers, but we should go to Versailles and run a passenger line to Paris. So we have our line from Versailles coming into Paris. We're going to put our 2 de Glens. This is our main express train for the moment. We'll leave it on automatic because we want them to bring some of this clothing as well. What we might want to do is look at Versailles and is it getting wool? Yes, it is automatically getting wool. So we'll leave that be for a while. We'll get that bonus. Hopefully we'll get this Fosses bonus. And then the next thing we're going to have to look at is Paris getting, oh, it is getting grain. Okay, that's good. And it needs cloth. It's getting some, so that'll help a little bit more. We could do the whole Saint Denis thing. Are they demanding planks? Yes, they are demanding planks, and they're getting some. So we could put a line from Saint Denis down to Paris, bringing in planks. We're going to have to take a bond. So we'll take this one right here, and then we'll take another one. There we go. So I'll max out our bonds. So we put a station in Saint Denis. We call it a freight station. We're going to bring it into Paris Freight, and we're going to use a PLM and let them bring in planks and sawdust into Paris, and they can bring people too if they want. Now, if we look at Paris, because we have to grow it, right? Remember? So everything's at 100. Probably not going to stay that way. The first 0 we see is beans. So I put a station in beans here, or Michel's station, I guess. It's going to bring in the beans. We'll go ahead and we'll put it on number 1 here. It'll go into Paris and it'll run full. So that takes care of that. Now, if we go back in and look, the next zeros we see will be milk, cheese. Of course, can't do nothing about cheese. Clothing is a little low, but it needs cloth. And paper and copper wire. Well, there's nothing we can do about that. But milk we can. So our closest milk, or only milk actually, is way up here. So we'll have to put a station there too. So wherever milk coming into Paris Freight, unfortunately it's going through Saint Denis Freight at the moment. We may do a bypass, but for now we'll let it go straight through the station. We'll put one down here, and that will give Paris everything it needs to grow to the 60,000 for sure. The planks, we have that coming in from Saint Denis. 500 passengers, that's something that will work on its own. So basically what we could do is come up to these other cities, because we're trying to increase them freight wise too. We could see what they need. Conflans-Sainte-Honorine needs tons of stuff. Potatoes, beans, lumber, and it also needs milk as well. So we put another line. We're going to bring it in off number 2, and we're going to bring in our milk, Conflans-Sainte-Honorine. So it means money's tight. We decided to change things up a little bit. So the milk, we're going to run it down to Paris and then over the Conflans-Sainte-Honorine. We're doing the same thing with the beans, so that way we're saving extra tracks and trains. And then the potatoes, we're going to run it up the Conflans-Sainte-Honorine because Paris is already getting it. That'll be 18 days. It can come back here, and then I think it can go up the Fosses Freight. See, that's still less than 56 days. That's good. Now we connected our wood station to Conflans-Sainte-Honorine and then back again to load up the second time to Fosses, because Paris was already getting wood when I look at it. See, it's already getting some. Now that may not stay that way, but for now it's okay. I'm not sure how good this is going to go, but I'm going to try to bring in one train to fulfill all Saint Denis needs here. So we'll do the grain first. Then we'll come into the potatoes, run that full. Then we'll come into the beans and we'll run that full, and we'll see if it's sitting around waiting, if trains are tripping over each other. If they are, we may have to do something different. We're going to try another kind of one size fits all train line to Versailles. We're going to bring in grain, come back over the potatoes, then come back over to the wood. Now the thing we'll have to do is do kind of a U there, and we'll need to do the same thing here, and that will cut down our 57 days quite a bit. And we're going to put an immigration office down in Paris, which probably should have did before. That will increase our immigration by 19%. I don't know if anyone else is able to do that because they have to have 30,000 population. No. Doesn't look like anyone else is at that point. So just an update. We have 34 of 70, so almost halfway for one single train line. 332 passengers at Paris, so that's over halfway. And then 11 of 20, that's over halfway. And then our citizens are 45 700. So Paris lost its potatoes and its grains, so we now have a line due on both. And here we are coming into Paris with what I think will be our last bit of passengers needed to complete that task. We're only missing 15 and we have 32 on this train.
Superb. Enough workers have arrived in Paris and the construction of the Eiffel Tower can begin.
Nice. So like I said, we got the 500 passengers of Paris. We're making progress on the other things as well. We're going to take this Research Industrial Congress. It will reduce our in-service training costs by another 5%. And we're now coming into Conflans-Sainte-Honorine with the last of our goods, which should clear off our task of 70 goods on a single train line.
The line runs smoothly and contributes to the construction of the tower.
There we go. Just as I said, that one right there. So now an update, our 20 loads of wooden planks, we're at 13 of 20. And then 6,000 citizens in Paris, we're at 47, just under 48. We're going to put another train on this grain going into Paris because we want to encourage it to augment the bread factory. And right now it's a 0 of 14, and see how this is not quite 100. So we want to increase that and kind of push it to maybe make that bigger. And here we are coming from Saint Denis into Paris with our last load of wooden planks.
With this amount of wood, nothing stands in the way of building my tower.
There we have our 20 loads of wooden planks. Paris is still growing, although not as fast as I wish it was. I may have to have separate trains for each of these things. Using multiple trains. It was a cheap way at the first, but really it's not keeping up. And it was a little expensive, but we finally got our line come from our salt. And at first we're going to bring salt straight in to Paris. And then after that, we're going to allow the beans to come in as well. And it'll just do sort of whatever it wants.
Paris has grown, a vibrant city, ready to witness a building that will go down in history. The first movements on the construction site fill me with awe and a thirst for action. There is still no sign of the tower itself, but the foundations have been poured and the scaffolding for the structure is taking shape. The first step has been taken. The tower is starting to grow.
All right, wonderful. So we accomplished our last task of growing Paris over 60,000 people. So far we did that. We have Saint Denis at 24, Conflans-Sainte-Honorine is over 30, so it's doing pretty good. We'll have to put an immigration center down there. Fosses is growing slowly. It's just under 20. Versailles is actually shrinking. Not really sure. I guess my train's not as effective as I thought it was. And so that's a decent start. And we're at June 21st, 1880. So we're still in the same year that we started. So I feel decent about that. Money's still a little slow and hard to come by, but we'll see as things progress. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Come back and watch another video of Viking Me Gaming.